Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. This video, I'm going to talk about one of the great capability where we can prevent and allow guest users on a specific group level, right? Whether you want to allow and then those guest users can be added. And if you don't want to allow or add any guest users to that respective group, we can prevent that as well on the group level, right? So how we are going to do that? And I'm going to show you by using the PowerShell script, right? And that's already available and made available by Microsoft. But I wanted to show you how you can do that so that it depends on you as a customer, as an end user, as well as IT pros who are going to work, and if there is such requirement, right? So they should be able to do it, right? Okay, so have you ever thought about this before, whether this was possible or not? And if you have done that already, right? If not, then I would like you to go ahead and see this and then like this video as well. Okay. Uh, it's the boss. Okay. All right. So I'm going to show you in this video specifically how we can do that and what are the settings that we are going to enable or disable, right? So that's the way using PowerShell script, using Microsoft Graph PowerShell, right? And it has that capability to make that change, whether we wanted to allow it to specific group, whether we wanted to disable it or whatever we wanted to take, right? So I'm going to open up 365 admin portal, and from there, I'm going to show you how we can do that, right? So let me open a portal. Also, I'm going to, but before that, let me share my screen here so that I can show you what I'm trying to do, right? And you can also understand it, right? So here's the 365 portal, right? And from here, I have many of the active groups, right? So let's say this is the one of the group I wanted to consider or make the part of this change, right? And I can do this using PowerShell, right? So let me copy this group name over here, and even you can go to Entra ID, and from there also you can make that change. Not direct change, but you need to get the group ID and group name, right? So once we do that, we should be able to, or we cannot add any guest users to that respective group at all, right? All right. So I will also open up the Teams admin portal. So from there, we can simply go back, and I will show you how we can add any guest users upon this change, right? All right, let's go here and members, and let me see if I have any guest users added over here. So currently we don't have anyone, and let's try to add any guest user. Yeah, this one, right? So you can see that I'm able to add it and then add, right? So it is added now, and at the same time, I will just go back to portal, and from here, guests, and let's see if I have any other guests. Perfect. So you can see that I have few other guest user accounts as well, right? So let's say this one, this one, and this one, right? So we have added one user, this one. Now, upon change, we will try to add another user, right? And then we'll see whether it allows us to make that change or not. Perfect. So now let's jump back to the script which I have already here, right? So this is the whole script where we are going to connect to MS Graph and then you can see that there are some of the commandlets which are going to call it out, right? So we should give it a group name over here in order to pick up that respective group, because this is going to be a group based policy change, right? And then once we execute this one, it is going to simply make that set up this property to false, which is going to show us allow to add a guest, right? And that way it is going to simply block it, right? So let's connect to the graph first, and then we will jump on. Okay, we check it is connected. Need to check whether it is connected to correct account. Perfect, it is connected to correct account, and it has all the permissions that it needs to execute, right? And I have this group details or the script with the group name. So I'll just copy it and paste it over here, and it should execute. Okay. What it's saying is command was found in the beta. Okay. But the module could not be loaded. Okay. So there seems a module import issue. Okay. So let me import module. This one. Stuck there. Okay. Okay. It needs a beta version. Let me get that version from here. So we should be able to do that. Seems there is a, let me get that one quickly here. There is no beta version available on the PowerShell. So I'll just copy the commandlets that we need to install, and then we should be good there too. All right, it's installing this with this commandlets to install beta version, and then we'll import it. So once that is installed and imported, we should be good there, because it needs to identify those commandlets wherever it has to find those commands and then install it, right? Sometimes it also gives an error based on the commandlets if those commandlets are not found successfully, or it is not loaded successfully, because it also needs to be loaded and then it has to be identified that it had the right set of commands to validate and then execute that script or commandlets that you are trying to run. So let's give it a minute, as it has so many commandlets to install, and it should do that quickly. So you can see that it is installing for whole beta version, right? So even if you wanted to target specific one, you can do that as well, but it is always good to keep all beta commandlets or beta modules, so that way we should be able to install it. Okay, it seems it has completed. It is just validating towards the end of this one, and we should be good there to start with. Let's give it a minute. Okay, it's validating. Perfect. Done. Okay, so now we are good. We should be able to just hit the connect button, and once we are connected, we will go ahead and okay, and see get happen and reconnect context. Perfect. And now we can try this command line, right? Also, it might throw an error, so I'll just try to import. It's not loaded. Okay, that is also throwing error. Okay, let's try out this one. Okay, could not load file or assembly this authentication version. Natural. Okay, okay. Token assembly. Okay, this one. Okay, so it did not load that at all. So let me try running this one here. Load file assembly this one. Hit over, click exit from here and reopen. Option 7. Okay. Thing is, it's required module. This one is not loaded. Okay, graph dash application. I'll upload it. That's strange. It's changing authentication. Okay, now it shows that it was successful. Now let's try this thing. Try this authentication. Authentication. It is strange that it is just simply exporting or loading authentication one, but not others. Now let's see. It has to find out this group's unified ID, and then you should be able to get the details. Okay, authentication needed is called connected Entra. Okay. Now it has validated all those commandlets. Now you should be able to see it is set to false, right? So it is going to validate on each of these commandlets because as you'll see, if there are any authentication errors, that means it's not going to validate, right? And why it is not validating, it needs to authenticate with the identity as well as groups. It should be able to identify. Now you can see that it has executed successfully with this ID and template ID as well, right? Now let's jump back to the portal and see if we can add any guest users to this group, right? Also, remember one thing to note that this might take a time to synchronize changes as well as it may not have the changes as soon as possible or immediately if you are going to add or try to add any user or remove anyone, right? So we have one user, that's fine, that is going to work. But when we wanted to add new one, right? So that's going to simply be blocked, right? So let me add this one and try to add. Right. So it is not yet changed successfully, right? We have made it to false and it did not add or made that change yet on the group level. So I'll just simply delete this one for now. Then restore the teams of teams. Actually, we wanted to remove this guest user and remove as member. So this might take time to show. Also, one thing to show you here, whether this is successful or not. So there's one of the commandlet as well, this one. Just copy it and then come back here and then run it, right? You can see that the value is this one and value is set to false. If we have set it to false, that means we are blocking it, right? So that means this is what, or this has worked successfully without any errors, right? So based on that, it is going to your step one. This is going to be the endpoint of graph with beta versions for groups with group ID and settings with get method that we are trying to export from the graph, right? With REST API, right? So get is the REST API method here to export the values and it has presented those values on the screen, right? So this way it's going to show us. Now it is set. It's only the thing is that it did not yet identify or it did not change that setting. As I said, it might take time to synchronize and show it up on the changes or group level. So probably give it a minute or two, and we should be able to make that change. And we should be able to see that what is the change that we have made. Yes. Let's open the group and come back here. And from Teams, even from Teams admin also, as an end user also, if we can try adding, and it will show the option, or it will show that pop-up over there saying that you cannot add user to the group because of the policy. Right, let's click on this one. I will also go back here and Teams app. Then I will open an Outlook as well, right? So as an end user, what should be the experience that we should see? Let's give it a name. Okay, this is the guest user. Try adding it. Okay, it says added successfully. Okay, so this was from the Teams admin side. Even Teams admin side is also allowing us to add. I'll just remove it again. And we can come back to Outlook and Teams because we wanted to see from both sides and whether it allows us to add people as a guest or not. Okay, we are here in the, okay, so this is the Teams, right, where we can try adding. And from here, let's add a member as a right. Give me a minute. Okay. Let me. Okay, so we are here on the Teams application as an end user, and we can try adding the user. So let me give that account over here and should be able to do that, right? Okay, it is not identifying. That means, okay, let me get that account from here. We tried from here, we tried from here. Okay, so the groups, we'll find that group over here, and then we should be able to find that group, and from there we'll see whether it allows us to add, or else also we search that group over here. I just will copy, let's go this group. We can find it. That's strange. That's a Teams group, and it is not in finding. We did not find a group. Oh, what is the name of this guest? Yes. Okay. Yeah, this one. No, that's the different one that we got this identity from here, and we can try. It's saying not much found. That is strange. So that is not showing in the Outlook as well, but this is Teams group, right? So this should show up. And as I showed you here in Teams client, right? So this is going to be, or this should be available here too as well. Right, adding another member, right? So an option, I've added one guest here, add it again. That's the different account. What else? Click this from here, and we should be able to add it, or we should be able to see that message because we have blocked it. Added this one. Add. But it's strange. It is still adding. That means it did not synchronize the changes, right? So probably it's just going to take time to do the same thing. But as I said, this whole script, right? So if we wanted to block it, we should set it this as false. Allow guest means we are not allowing it, right? And if you wanted to set it to allow, that means the value should be true, right? So this way it is going to simply be blocking it and not allowing anyone as an end users as well, right? So it should be enforcing end users to stop and do not allow to add any user to the group, right? So yeah, that is what I wanted to show you and how we can do this way. Also, there's similar commandlet, only the value changed to true if in case we wanted to allow to add guest users. Also, as I showed you, this value is set to false, right? That means allowing guest users is set to false. It is not allowed at all, right? And that is why it is blocked. It should behave that way. But since it is not synchronizing and it's taking time to do that, right? So yeah, that's all for this video. I wanted to show you and talk about it, right? Let me know if you have done this or are there any such requirements or what is your experience on this thing, right? And if you have any questions, any doubts, let me know. I'll be able to answer those and collaborate on it if you have anything, right? So yeah, that's all for this video. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, people around you, so that they can also know and learn. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well, so that you will get to see every new video once those are uploaded, right? That's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.